I'm sorry, I had some internet problems. So what we're currently trying to do is to actually load the font. So currently we are loading this as a font collection and then collection into font, unwrap or get the first font. Um, Just error for font. Step from step error. Right. And yeah. So basically the clone new collection dot get no, we can't do this. Right. Font tab. So load font. This function is never used, but whatever. We can also update web render, so I think it was merged. No, it wasn't merged. Oh. Well, yeah, it will merge sometime in the future, but let's just see. Rust tab load font. Rust tab load font. We need a font and we need a font collection, so this is actually great. What do we need then? Okay, what does it need? System, yeah, this kind of stuff is awful. Right? You don't want to have a, well, you can technically, you can do it, but really, no. Web render load font instance, exactly. So this is the function upload font to the GPU. Web render load font, render API, font key. Yes, but how do we make a font key? Font instance, resource update, add font instance, font key size, none, update resources. Okay, font key and size, app units, AU. So this is what we generate font instance key. This is basically the two cores which we have to say is, okay, the instance key, we have to generate a font key, and then we have to add a font instance. Generate font instance key. But we don't need to update resources and instance key. So we need a font key size in app units AU, font key, font instance key, and of course both of them have to be cached. So we want to have the font key in the in one hash map, and then the font instance key in the second hash map. So yeah, the font key, and then this is just the other stuff. Font data. Right. Font data. So, but how does he actually get a font? Generate font key, add raw font. Thank you. So add raw font. This is basically what I wanted. Resources.add raw font. So let me think. So this is add raw font. So we can say, okay, read to end. Then we can say let past font equals font fonts pass the font cross tab load font data load font data. This is then the passed font. Then we can say, okay, v.insert font state ready for upload, and then we add raw font key, add raw font key, data, data, add raw font, past font. I mean, we can font state ready for upload, but we don't need to have the font passed. So v.insert font state, if we have a font state by GUI8 and the font state, which is also we have the font state v.insert font data dot clone data and ready for upload. We actually ready for upload. Now we need to have a passed font, and here we say we just have the data. So if this didn't fail, we can basically say, okay, we have a font state and a back of U8. Now we have a font state ready for upload, past font. We have a back U8 and a font state. Yeah, exactly. Font size, font key, of font key, font instance key. So this font state has two states, which is the uploaded, which is the font info, which is the font key. And then we have the font instance key, so we don't need to. So we say, okay, ready for upload. Here we say ready for upload. Font state. Ready for upload. Actually, we want a font and a font state of back U8. Add raw font function. So you want the actual font, you want the font key. The font state has a font key. Then we can look up the font by the font key. So we first look up the string and font state and see that it's been uploaded. Then we look at the font key and look if it's currently created at this size. Font key, instance key, add font instance key, size, font instance key. I'm not sure if the font instance is tied to the size, because theoretically you would think that it's tied to the size, right? Because if the size is the same, then why not? It's the same font instance. We upload the font and replace the font state newly created font key, right? So insert past font ready for upload data. First upload font. We need to duplicate this. end-to-end font data. So now we have this. Now we have this font. Now we can say, okay, yes, okay, use Rust type font, font key, font instance key. Font please don't font owned font a scale font font dash a. This doesn't mean anything because from bytes will probably from bytes dot into. If I look at into shared bytes, from the GUI, which is this function, shared bytes by arg, so that should not lead to any kind of problems. The only problem that we now have is that we have this stupid identifier, and we need to basically now add the lifetimes to everything. So this should state t dash a t font and format debug. Okay, maybe not debug. Should now work. I hate when people do this just because, you know, by ref, because we have to store the font in there, so it adds absolutely nothing. It's just more noise, So this sadly has to be the case. So I just hope that someone, because you know this will be always by ref, and then yeah, well whatever. You know, yes, you can make a font without owning it, but yeah, this is sort of the thing where Rust isn't exactly great at. Let's see. So font data as image, add font data entry, font read. Does read actually give me the length? Because then what methods do I have? No. No, it doesn't. Well, whatever. So it should still work because this is a correct font, you know. Okay, this is debug. Yeah. This is about to be expected. So now what we do is we can say, okay, we have this app resources. I mean, this is really, I hope it doesn't annoy anyone, but this is what you have to do, app resources -a, because just because this font has a lifetime on it, and it's annoying, you know. It's always beat by arc, so it's always owned. There was a version of RustTab where they had, I think, owned font and ref font or something like this. I very much prefer this because it just looks ugly. The more lifetimes you have, the more you know, I try to make the API as simple as possible, but sometimes it's not always possible. So if we go into the where is it? The display list. I'm getting tired. Update image resources. So update resources. So this is what we have: API, app resources, and resource updates. Update font resources. So here we have the resources. Self. Yes, it will. So does this actually work? So does this actually work? Please tell me it works. I absolutely hate this. This is just unnecessary lifetimes just because someone thought that, you know, oh, I can make it reference because, you know, there's no real point to this. Right? You can be smart about it and just not clone it or use a reference counted variable. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but you know, it's just stupid shit. So update font resources. So use font state, use font state. Yeah, so we don't want to updated fonts. Yeah, image descriptor, I don't know. Updated fonts equals the first font state string 8. Yes, like U8 new, and to delete fonts string, and then we can get the because, you know, in theory we could go ahead and just add more fine-grained resources to, you know, delete the font at such and such size, but that's really not required. I mean, who is going to add thousands and thousands of fonts, font sizes? Like, this is just insane, right? Then we get the font instance key. So what we can say is for app resources dot fonts, app resources dot font fonts, and font data, remove the image key. So this will unload the complete font, and it shouldn't be done lightly. Maybe we can do this later on so that you can, yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, the only reason really to remove a font again is to see, you know, we are currently short on memory or something like this. Resource update. Delete font instance. I hope it's called delete font instance. So we render delete font instance. Font key, font instance keys. For font instance key, for instance in font instance keys, so, and then we just say the same thing as, you know, we clone a lot here. There are certain bottlenecks, and yeah, this is a bit different, right? To deleted images, push. So we need to have these font about to be deleted, push about to be deleted. Where does the image say about, oops, about to be deleted? Image key and a back of, yes, okay, updated fonts. To delete fonts, and then we have the k.iter about to be deleted, which needs a string, a font key, and a string, and then a yeah, this is a bit tricky. Key dot clone, and then we need to have the to be deleted fonts. You know what? I'm currently too tired to make this, so I'm just going to leave it there, and we will get back to this tomorrow, because handling fonts is quite a bit trickier than to delete fonts. Remove resource key. This doesn't work. We need to look up the resource key first, and I can't think anymore, so this is just this will be a disaster if I I will just I'm too tired for this. I know what we have to do. We have to do basically the same thing as for the fonts, just we have to incorporate the font size and do a lookup of a font instance key by this by the specific size, and look up the instance of the font. You know, if the font instance hasn't been generated, we render it, otherwise we can use the existing font instance. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. But I'm currently too tired to finish this. So yeah. Not even sure if anyone's watching. I mean, it's not particularly interesting. So I'll currently just check, let it run for one last time, and I'll just check if any messages have been done, but I don't think so. Yeah, so yeah. Well, this is what we now have. All of this, you know. And yeah, I mean it's looking pretty good, except for like the corner, you know. This is where the clipping doesn't work, but we can already see that the border is working, but not the clipping. We're going to fix that. It will pretty much work, but yeah. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, goodbye.